the 5 wise virgins had to make sure that they keep the lampshade clean. Because if it's not clean, when you light the lamp, you will only get shades. You would not get perfect light. So you had, and it had a technique in it too. According to how you turn up the wick, matron, you forget that one? According to how you turn up the wick will determine how much soot you will get. So if you turn up the wick too much, you will get real soot, so it will be black. In less than no time, you don't want that. But you want just the amount of light that is necessary and not too much soot, so that you will get light throughout the night. Christian, we as Christian, we have to be careful that you don't burn out yourself and not treat yourself to maintain. We'll get to that too. Yeah, we have to go to Matthew 24. So, well, let me just talk a little about it in case I forget that time. When the Christian is living their life, if you burn out yourself, what do I mean by that? You are divided into spirit, soul, and body. If you nourish the flesh and nothing else, your spirit will get weak. If you nourish your spirit and nothing else, your flesh will break down. So you have to balance. That is why fasting and praying is important. But if you fast every day, this will have no strength, so it will fall. So you have to balance a little fasting and praying. You need to eat. You need to strengthen so that when you stand for God, sometimes you stand for God and a breeze blow, you could fall down. But if you stand for God, the body is strong and the spirit is strong. You're able to move and work for God. The 5 foolish virgins, they were like, okay, Sarah, whatever would be. What the future holds, my friend. Okay, Sarah. They take things for granted. They say, well, I know Christ coming, so what? When he come, at least I'm in church. Because it have a lot of people that believe once I'm in church, it's all right. But is your character acceptable to God? Well, I just pray. Yes, it is pray. But is your quality of life acceptable to God? So the 5 wise virgins, they had their lamp trimmed, the shade clean, and everything, the oil at a right level, and everything right. The 5 foolish virgins, they're just burning. They're just burning their oil. But the day came when someone passed. The bridegroom is outside, going out to meet him. The 5 wise take up their lamp and they're going out to meet him. But the 5 foolish now looking to make sure things in order. They're now looking to get their clothes. They're now looking to get their shoes. They're now looking to get their socks or their stockings. They're now looking to get themselves ready. But while they're doing that, the 5 wise was already ready. We are at a stage in life because, and this is what I'm going to now, we are at a stage in life that it's too late to be getting ready, you know. It's too late to be getting ready. We're supposed to be almost ready. problem with the church. The church really is the bride of Christ. But the church behave as really the bride. And the bride of long time, I'm not talking about no bride. No bride, they go in the store, they buy a dress or somebody give them a dress and they're good. But long time bride, they used to go to the store with the tanty, the auntie and the mother. And they will go and they will walk around because, well, I can't shop like them ladies, but that's how they walk from store to store to store because they need to get the right type of material. And when they get the material, they have to get one piece of material, and then they have to get a next piece to go with it, and then they have to get another piece. So when they finish shop, they're making sure they have the sequence, they're making sure they have the cloth for the veil, they're making sure they have the right satin and all the works and trimmings, and then they will carry it to the dressmaker. And when they carry it to the dressmaker now, how they work is not like any and everybody. They will sew a piece and call you to try on. And when you come and you try on, you're seeing the raw product, you ain't seeing a finished product. This is getting ready. You can't just buy the cloth and rest it down home and say, well, when the time reach, because it's quite next year. Stop procrastinating, church. Stop procrastinating. Else you will be like the 5 foolish virgins. We going down again. Romans chapter 1, verse 21 to 32. I write for the heading there, is he coming? Why? A lot of people say that, as a matter of fact, to discredit Jesus Christ coming, people is discrediting that he was ever here. They're saying he was never here. So if he was never here, then he can't come back. Because we're talking about second coming. He's coming back. A lot of the things that the Bible say, you know, people, they don't want to admit that it coming to pass. And it's reoccurring. And what the scriptures that I'm going into now will show that things are reoccurring. So, yes, matron.
Because that when they knew God, they glorified him. Not as God, neither were thankful, but because vain is their imagination, and their foolish heart was dark.
Let me start by saying here, when I was small, before I even reached 12 years, all around that age, let's say in the early 80s, 70s to 80s, when you see you're coming to church on a Good Friday, around the time for service, they used to have the Ben-Hur movies. To those of you who don't know what that is, because you know them big shows it are now, Ben-Hur movies were like Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Then you will have the 10 Commandments, and you will have the Samson and Delilah. These shows on a Good Friday and an Easter Sunday, you will see people flocking around windows. We lime in here, but Ben-Hur going on. Now we have to get to see that show. And everybody peeping because we need to. If you ain't see Ben-Hur, you ain't see nothing. Everybody had a type of godliness. As a matter of fact, I was able to work taxi a time in my life, and while working taxi, I'm going down the road, Sanwaterton, and while I'm going down, I'm passing in front of the Anglican church, and I will see those older women, they're making obeisance. Everybody had a type of godliness. It didn't matter what church you're going to. Everybody had a type of godliness. And as time roll on, it seemed as though godliness gone out. Not only with the people in the world, you know. Or if we are talking about the people in the world, not only the people in the world, but even the people in the church. It looked like godliness going out. From the time somebody could come in a church and stoops, a simple thing as stoops, godliness started to go. From the time somebody could come in the church and have slack joke, godliness. From the time somebody could come in the church and sit down next to somebody or across from somebody and watching them cross eye, godliness. From the time the man that is up here could do indecent act with the innocent people down here, godliness. But God ain't going nowhere, you know. So the scriptures is saying they knew God, but they didn't treat him as God. People who should treat God as God, they didn't treat him in the same manner. One of the portion of verse in that verse, it says that people become more unthankful. People who you expect to be thankful, willing to say thank you. Some time ago, I was in Grand Bazaar, and somebody asked me if I have any money. And I really didn't have no paper money, so I had some quarters. I dip my hand in my pocket, and I take out the quarters and I hand them. They take the quarters, they watch it, and by the time I make about 4 steps going my way, I hear the quarters hit the ground, you know. I hear the quarters hit the ground. It have the people, if they're begging and you give them $1, they will ask you what they could do with that, you know. That is one part. Children that growing up in our house, when they ask for something and you give them, they don't even want to say thank you, you know. Well, I have a kind of way about me. When I hand in something, and if I hand you and happen to forget and you just take it and you're going, I calling you back, and when you come back, I taking it back. Not that I don't want you to have it. I want you to know what you're supposed to do, because if you don't engraft it into your children, into your grandchildren, into your great-grandchildren, if you don't engraft it into them, unthankful. This is what is rising up before us. Yes, Matra?
Professing themselves to be wise, they become foolish, and change the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to uncorrupted man, and to birds and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Go ahead.
Pause. How it start again? Right. We have reached a time in our society that everybody know. You see, I know there is a spirit. And all you know how I like to get this story with Lemuel. Lemuel, yes, Daddy. He come. Go and so I will wait. And then he will not wait. Wait, tell me to Daddy. I said, well, you didn't wait for me to tell you. Go and he come back. What you say again? So I was trying a different psychology now. I decided to talk slower. Go and get a cup we are living in a time that everybody know. So as you open your mouth, you that have experience, you're going to tell your grandchild, your neighbor, some of you, especially them young people, I tell you, it's a spirit. From the time you're going to tell them something, I know. They're not waiting. So because they know, they profess to be wise. I know everything again, nobody has to tell me nothing again. Because I know. I wise. But there is an old proverb. To him that knoweth, but knoweth not, he is a fool. That is something that is recorded, you know. I didn't have the whole thing, but since you know, but really and truly you know it not, you is a fool. So they profess themselves to be wise. Here is the problem with the bill that was passed in Parliament to make people feel that it's okay. A bill was passed that is the Equal Opportunities Bill. From the time they was planning to bring that bill, and I heard that bill as a child of God, as a preacher, I said that have chaos. Here's why. Do you know the person that steal? Let me put it a little harsher. Do you know the person that steal things from innocent people? You know, fighting to catch yourself. You know, buy a fridge. You know, buy a stove. And you know, buy a TV, and you ain't even finished paying for it, but it on terms, and you fighting every week, every fortnight, every month to pay for that. But somebody watch you went to work, and they watch the time you're coming home, and then next week they break in and they clean out your house and they go. Do you know that person that doing the stealing believe that they're right to do that? And do you know, while the Equal Opportunity Bill did not give that person right, that person believed they have right because of that bill. And I could talk about other things, but the lesson will talk about it. So they take the uncorruptible God and bring down his status. Not that you could move God from where he is by your thinking, your mind, your belief, but they bring down his status to a status of man. So when you really meet some people and you're talking about God, they're looking at God as Brother Nicholas. When you say God, they think Nicholas. When you talk about his awesomeness, they think about he being handsome. This is how mankind have bring down the thought of our God. And we need to realize that we serving a God that is big. We serving a God that is awesome. When I thinking that the doctors, they're good, I need to study that my God greater than the doctors. Because the doctors have to use an x-ray to partially think of what is going on with me. But God just have to say because he already knows. When it happened today, God didn't know it last year. Because God is omniscient. He's omnipresent. And he's here, there, and everywhere. We need to believe in our God. Yes, matron.
Wherefore, God also gave them up to uncleanness, though the lust of their own heart, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Who changed the truth of God unto a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than God created, who is blessed forever.
It have a lot of people worshiping the creature more than the creator, you know. It have religions that teaching you to worship creature, you know. The Bible never give instructions to worship man, nor beasts, nor angels, nor sun, neither the moon, not even the earth. The Bible never give that instructions, you know. But there are those have changed around the principle to tell you you must worship them thing. You want success? You have to do this by doing that, and then when you do that, you have to do this, and you want your help, come down by so, and I will do. But earlier on I said, if you don't have Jesus, you don't have nothing. If you don't have Jesus, you're dead. If you don't have Jesus, all is lost. So when you are being taught to worship all sorts of things, you are being taught wrong. Wrong. Worship the Creator. David says, I will lift my eyes onto the hills. Now he's talking about the hills here. But then hear what the verse continue to say. A question was asked, from whence cometh my help? And then the answer come, from the Lord that made the heavens and the earth. So the hills there, but the hills only give me a point of elevation to lift myself, not to the top of the mountain, but unto God who I will put my trust. Yes, matron.
For this cause God gave them up unto the affection of their own woman. They changed the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, born in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meet.
Pause. It's talking about homosexual behavior. It's very interesting that the Bible referred to the woman first. But it makes sure it can leave out the men. Because both doing nonsense. Leaving the natural uses of what God have designed. And you notice right through us saying we're looking at the world. But churches teaching that is okay. It's alright. After all, Sodom and Gomorrah is Old Testament. But here we are in the New Testament. We're still in Romans chapter 1. It said the natural uses. When you get a plug, a male plug, it have pins. And the next part, you could call it a plug as well. A female plug. The male plug goes into the female plug. That's the natural uses. Take two male plug and get current. Natural uses. With all what those who don't believe in God and all of them are saying, get two women and put them together and get children. Get two men and put them together and get children. It is moving away from the natural uses. And all you're doing is dishonoring your own self. The Bible says that, you see, sexual immorality, that is a sin within your body. That is sin inside here. You ever realize somebody could thief, but even though they're thief, it don't affect them in here? But when it comes to sexual sin, AIDS, and gonorrhea, and syphilis, and all the inside here, you lie. So it has sin in the body, and it has sin out the body. And to those of you who say sin is sin, read the Bible again. Don't go yet. It talks, that Bible change around the word, but a little higher up it talk about God give them over to a reprobate mind. What does it mean by being reprobate? It means that despite how much I pray for you, nothing ain't happening. Some of the people that we watching out there that is doing what they want, we could pray for them. That is our heart to do. But they wouldn't change. Because God have already given them over. What do you mean by that? Could you find some part of the scriptures to bear record with what you are saying, Bishop? Yes. Well, tell us, Bishop. Moses went to Pharaoh. And Moses tell Pharaoh, thus says the Lord, to let my people go. Pharaoh said, no, I ain't doing that. And when God bring the first plague and Pharaoh said, okay, I will let them go, the Bible says God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And when Moses and them getting ready, where are they going? All they ain't leaving here. And 10 different plagues, 10 times his heart was